to earn the top 10 recognition of the 7th semester for the class of 2020. I got the chance to prepare this speech for a teacher. I chose Mrs. Sonner. Mrs. Sonner showed an outstanding job as her role as a teacher and a role to lead students to the best of their education. Mrs. Sonner showed kindness, consistency, think of others in good ways, and she would go the extra mile for any student. Mrs. Sonner has helped more than the classes she taught and would give useful sources to help learn a subject in an easier way. Even though I only had Mrs. Sonner as a teacher assistant, I still saw these great characteristics from her. Thank you.
Although the last semester of high school is completely different than I would have imagined, I'm extremely grateful for the amount of support and opportunity that I've had at Renaissance Academy. Not only have I felt accepted, but also been pushed to do my best with my fellow classmates and facilitators, always there to help pick me up if I was falling behind. They've also helped me when I needed some time to gain a sense of stability and take a break so I can get back to working 10 times harder than I had before. Someone who has especially pushed me to do my best is Dr. Allred. Persistence and hard work has to come from yourself, and being motivated by others that make that hard work seem not so hard is important along the way. Besides myself, Dr. Allred has been a huge part of the motivation and would be strict when my friends and I were messing around or talk to me if I wasn't doing as well. He has also shown endlessly the amount of care and trust he has in his students. He has also provided so many opportunities for myself and others to help us stand out to colleges. Although we are a small school, I know that I would not have been happier anywhere else. The amount of closeness with everyone around me and knowing that I am in their best interest as I am with them. I found through high school that this is very important to me and is what kept me going and be able to work hard and be proud of that work. The community alone has made my college decision easier, and it is what made me interested in attending Bellarmine. I also wanted to thank Dr. Allred for creating an environment that I'm proud to say is a foundation of what I want in any college or job place. For always being there to push us when we're slacking and celebrate our achievements and hard work. For the amount of effort you put into creating a learning space like Renaissance. I know that alongside myself, so many are grateful to have this experience, and I hope the same for those in years to come.
Okay, Mrs. Young, I have chosen to recognize you for the top 10 honor recognition. Over the course of my high school career, you have been a very important and influential figure in my life. I have only ever had you as a teacher for CCR, but yet you have made such an impact. You have such a positive and genuine energy that you bring every day, which makes it easy to talk to you. When people discuss issues or concerns, you always provide a very honest response and a different perspective. Your honesty and your kind-hearted nature makes it easy to trust you. I have felt that if I needed help academically, creatively, or personally, that I could come to you for advice and feel comfortable. You have helped me academically anytime I needed advice on an assignment or by reading over some text I was confused about. You have helped me and have listened to my concerns about different creative projects I have worked on while also giving great advice. You have also helped me personally by just being a person/mature adult that I feel like I could trust if I ever needed help, and that gives me a sense of security. Over the course of in-person classes being closed, you have been great at listening to my concerns and being reassuring during this difficult time. I think you are amazingly helpful and kind, and I will truly miss having you as a teacher. So thank you for being such a supportive teacher and helping me succeed.
Over the last 4 years of my high school career, many people have had an impact on my life. I will remember the students, teachers, and coaches that have helped me grow as a person and become who I am today. So when asked which teacher impacted my journey the most, a few names came to mind, but one of them stuck out more than the rest, Mr. Keeler. Mr. Keeler is the woodshop robotics teacher at Clarksville High. I had his class both my sophomore and senior year, so he saw me grow a lot as a person over the years. I think that he had a big impact on that growth in many ways. Not only did he teach me a lot about engineering principles that influenced my decision to attend a STEM school like Purdue, but did it in a way that made it seem like he truly cared. Mr. Keeler is the type of teacher that not only cares about the education of his students, but also their well-being. He would constantly try to help each student make good grades and go beyond that to speak with each student about their day or topics that interest them. The fact that he cared so much to try his hardest to not only help every student succeed, but also to feel like they had someone to talk to truly speaks volumes about his character. The ability to help others succeed and be a friend at the same time really made Mr. Keeler stick out to me as not only a good teacher, but a great role model as well. I will always remember our daily conversations and debates, as well as the many projects that I enjoyed doing in his class. Thank you, Mr. Keeler, for not only being a great teacher, but also a great person, having a positive impact on my life.
Today I have the honor of presenting Miss Emily Stewart. She is not the average choir teacher, she is so much more. Miss Stewart has adopted the name Mama Stu throughout the years because she has a special way of making all of her students feel like a family. She also goes beyond her way to make sure all of her requirements are met, but also make sure that her students feel safe and secure. This means she gives us a space that we all feel safe and secure. She will provide a snack if we haven't eaten, and she constantly checks in on us to make sure that we are personally doing okay. All of these things she does not have to do by any means, but it is because of her mutual respect for us that she does these things, and it is because of this mutual respect that we do not take advantage of this. Ms. Stewart has been teaching at Clarksville Community Schools for 3 years. I've had the pleasure of taking her class for 2 years now. Of course, I wish I could have been in her class the first year, and I've always loved choir, but because of scheduling conflicts, that wasn't possible. However, I was in theater productions the first year and was choreographed by her. We worked on songs together, and I'd spend so much time with her, and I can easily say that because of this, her passion for music and teaching radiates throughout the room. She always makes you push yourself and makes you want to learn. The first year I worked with her, I was shy and wasn't confident with singing, and I often relied on others to make sure that I was singing the right notes. Although with just 1 year with her, I opened up and started doing things on my own, and I even did a solo at ISMA. If you know me at all, you know that this is nothing I would ever do on my own, but because of Miss Stewart, I did, and I am very thankful for her. One of the things that Miss Stewart has done is she took us to camp this year. This was extremely beneficial. While at camp, we worked on upcoming concert music, we played games, and we got a lot closer with family and friends. This is by far one of my favorite things I've done in high school, and it was definitely my favorite thing in our short senior year. I am extremely thankful to Miss Stewart, and I think by now you can clearly see why I chose to honor her this year. She has helped me through so much in just our short time this year, and she has taught me so many lessons I can't wait to take on to college. So, Miss Stewart, thank you.
Hello, my name is Zoe Duggan. For me to be recognized as part of the top 10 of my class is a huge honor for me. I have worked very hard to be where I am today. All 4 years of my high school career, I remember only ever pushing myself and strictly focusing on school to ensure I had good grades. It was hard for me most of the time, not hanging out with friends some weekends because I was writing essays that were due the next day, or putting a pause on my life to do homework for 6 different classes to make sure I turned it in on time. It was not easy whatsoever, but I did it, and I have many people to thank for that. The teacher I'm recognizing today is Mr. Dan Bullington. Mr. B is a very supportive and kind teacher no matter how hard he tries to act. There have been many times throughout my high school career that I remember Mr. B taking time out of his day to talk to me and make sure I was okay and my grades were okay. One specific time I remember the most is last semester. I was extremely stressed. I had a huge workload, and on top of that, I was involved in the play we were doing at that point in time. Mr. B saw that I was stressed and pulled me aside and asked me what was wrong. I remember just breaking down completely and explaining to him the crazy workload I had. That day, Mr. B told me that my work and my health were very important, and that I should take my time to drop everything that wasn't important to focus strictly on my homework. Mr. B taking time out of his busy day to make sure I was okay and give me just a little bit of help really stuck with me. And I believe that he has truly helped me with my educational career. From having him in class and having him as my theater director, I'm grateful for every experience I've had with him. Mr. B is a wonderful teacher and a great man who has helped so many students, including myself. That is why I'm recognizing and honoring him today for the great influence he has been on myself and the great contribution he has been towards helping me be the best I can be and have the best grades I can. Thank you, Mr. B, and thank you to everyone else who has helped me and supported me along the way. It has been a long and stressful 4 years, but I am honored to be a part of the top 10 of the class of 2020 after everything I have put into school. Thank you.
First off, it's amazing to say that I have made the top 10 of my class. It's something I worked hard for all 4 years of high school. Everybody at Clarksville was a help to me, and I knew that I could go to any teacher or staff member if I needed help. But one that stuck out to me the most was Miss Short. I made Miss Short my top 10 nominee because of everything she has done for me. I've had her for more than once, and every year with her was amazing. Not only was it easy for me to talk to her, but it was also easy for many other students to talk to Miss Short. This was something that made me feel comfortable because I knew if I had a problem in school or even with family issues, Miss Short was one to go to. One year I had Miss Short for National Honor Society, and she was a huge help. She helped me get all my service hours in like a quick minute. She always helped me think of creative ways to capture memories to put into a yearbook for other students to look back on. I really hope that as generations keep going, many people can get the chance to meet Miss Short. She was goofy and a fun teacher who paid attention to classwork but also knew how to help students when they were stressed. She made sure the student was okay before pressuring more work on them and causing more stress. Thank you, Miss Short, for being the teacher I could always go to, even for just a chat.
Mrs. Lewis is the secretary and treasurer at Renaissance Academy, but to me, she's more than that. Mrs. Lewis has the title of being the mom in our school. Almost all of the students at Renaissance Academy admire Mrs. Lewis, of course, including me. No matter what day and time it is, you can always see her inviting face. She has a sweet, caring, and loving personality. Always expect that her desk is full of students when it is early in the morning, lunchtime, or after school. Students always hang out with her and trust her with their problems. For the past 4 years, Mrs. Lewis has done so many things for me. She's the person who's been there for me since the beginning of high school. To me, she's no longer just a teacher. I consider her as a family. She saw me turn into a person I am today. Mrs. Lewis encouraged me and inspired me to do things I never imagined myself doing. She's the reason why I went to the Key Leader Camp, and without her, I think I might have missed the opportunity to grow as a leader and meet new amazing people. She pushed me to become better and to go out of my comfort zone. Mrs. Lewis has always there to cheer me up and make me laugh whenever my day feels unbearable. She's always willing to listen to my problems, may it be school related or personal. I feel like I can talk to her about anything. I feel like if we have a different secretary and treasurer, my whole high school journey will be different. Thanking Mrs. Lewis for what she did not only to me, but also to other students is an understatement. To me, she deserves more for all of her hard work that she's done and continue doing. She's the backbone of the whole school. Without her, everything is unorganized. I just wish that I had more time to express how thankful I am, and I will always be grateful for every lesson and experience that Mrs. Lewis taught me. And that is the reason I chose to dedicate this honor grad speech for her.
My time in school has shaped me in many ways. Each year I've grown more and more, both in my skills and just as me as a person. I chose to honor Ms. Gearhart for multiple reasons. The biggest being that in her classes, I was given the freedom to explore subjects and technologies that I was passionate about. In our journalism and current events classes, we worked on a student publication that was a newspaper and a newscast, and I had the job of sometimes casting as well as editing together the final production. I got a lot of editing experience and just overall a systematic workflow experience that I would have otherwise never gotten. To be given and trusted with that responsibility made me enjoy actually doing the work even more. I was excited to come to class to see what the next thing would be. She also had the initiative to bring in people from the specific fields we would be talking about, so you had the personal connection to whatever topic we were talking about. We met with people ranging from local news anchors to photographers, and it takes a certain person to put forth and truly gauge the interest of students, rather than just mentioning it and moving on. It was honestly a fun experience being able to see a project actually get developed right in front of my eyes. Being able to express my creativity in my projects was also a part of it, as in most of my projects I've had in school, I've just been a here's the work and here's where to find your answers. I'm not an artistic person, so this helped me fulfill that part of me while still having me learn. It is one of the reasons why I learned to enjoy hands-on project-based learning over the strictly just book work. To be given the opportunity has helped me a lot in honing in on my skills. On top of that, she made her classes exciting, so I was actually interested in learning the topics instead of just following along and zoning out. There was always something that stuck out in a project that let you remember whatever thing to learn, whatever the whole subject was about. Ms. Gearhart was one of the nicest teachers as well and was always there to help you out when you were struggling with any problem. And for that reason, she was one of my favorite teachers, and for that reason, I chose to honor her.
Mr. Francis is a new teacher to Clarksville High School, but it didn't take much time for him to become one of my favorites. Once Mr. Francis became our teacher, he did one thing that didn't seem like our other teachers were doing. He listened to our feedback. If we said we liked learning from slides and taking notes rather than working through packets, he listened to us and we tried it that way. He understood that switching teachers and then switching to e-learning was a difficult transition, but he always listens to his students. Mr. Francis also always tried to find a way to connect his lessons to real life. When we were studying plants, we took a class vote deciding on which plants we should go, and then we started a garden. The garden easily became a class routine, and it made me excited to come to his class. I would walk into the classroom, set my stuff down, and then I would water the plants. It became a routine and easily the best part of my school day. After everything bloomed, we were supposed to eat it. With school being closed, we were no longer able to do those things. But Mr. Francis added our plants to his garden and continued to water them. I selected Mr. Francis because from the time he started working at this school, he started working and listening to the students, especially when he became our teacher. During this quarantine, Mr. Francis started a YouTube channel. In class, students would occasionally ask him about his job before he became a teacher. He worked as a chef. He started making YouTube videos of teaching us how to cook simple videos, and that was one of the ways he showed us he cared. Another reason I selected Mr. Francis was because he supported his students. If one of his students told him an event they were in, he did his best to show up and support them. In his short time at Clarksville High School, Mr. Francis impacted my senior year. Doing simple things like listening to and supporting his students, he easily made a difference in my life. My junior and senior years, I took several dual credit classes. Dual credit classes take a lot of work, and sometimes teachers didn't listen or weren't receptive to the feedback of the students. Mr. Francis always listened to what we said, and he worked to adapt the class so that we were all successful.
Over my time here at Clarksville Community Schools Corporation, a lot of people have helped me in guiding my way through schooling. But I think the teacher that has helped me the most and is the most important to me is my choir teacher, Mrs. Stewart. I've been in her class for 3 years now, seeing as she came in the school system my sophomore year, so I've taken her class ever since then. Even from when I first met her the first day of school, sophomore year, I knew she was going to be an important figure to me in my life, and I knew she was going to be a great teacher. She's been a great role model for me, and she's taught me a lot about myself, and overall I've shared wonderful memories with her. Mrs. Stewart has helped me in so many ways, not just in class, but in life in general. Her and I have a very good connection, and if I feel like I ever need anything, then she's always going to be there for me. And she's generally somebody I can always count on if I ever need something. If there's ever a day of class where I'm feeling down, she's always the first to check up on me and make sure things are okay. She's also helped me break out of my shell. Freshman and sophomore year, I kind of was like a little shy, but over time, she helped me grow and become a better leader and a better person and more confident in my singing and more confident in myself in general. She also talked me into doing theater, as that was something I never thought I'd ever do, but one day she just talked me into doing it, and I just did a show each one of my years following sophomore year. I feel like she's helped me break out into a more confident person and leader, and I liked choir before having her, but Mrs. Stewart made me love choir, and I appreciate her and all of her support throughout these past few years of high school. She's made everything more enjoyable, and I wouldn't be where I am today without her. So thank you, Ms. Stewart. Thank you for everything you've ever done for me. I feel like you put me in a better place to succeed in my life, and good luck to you and everything you accomplish in the future, because I know you'll do great things.
Hello everyone. We are told to write a speech honoring a teacher, retired or current, who has changed our lives during high school. After a bit of thought and after reminiscing over my 4 years in high school, Ann Bird was one of the teachers that came into my mind. Freshman year, I was in 2 of her classes, and honestly, I look forward to attending each class. Mrs. Bird was the one who helped me understand my passion for photography and working hands-on with others. Let me back up a bit. Middle school was some of my worst and awkward years. That's how it was for most of us. Middle school, I was starting to understand myself and understand what my gifts are. These are the years that we're supposed to prepare you for high school. I had my guard up for all 3 years of middle school due to things I had experienced in my past. Once freshman year started, I knew I was determined to make something of myself. That's where Ann Bird came in. Ann Bird already knew my family, and She already knew my outgoing and interesting, very different brother, and she had him in some of her classes the previous year. I will always cherish the memories that we had, just sitting and talking about everything that was going on in my life. She was the one that I knew that could see me cry when I was overcoming mental illness. She was there to give me hugs and advice. She helped me find myself in the midst of some of my worst days. At the end of my freshman year, Mrs. Bird retired, and I knew it would be a long time before I saw her again. I knew that I was stronger because of the person that she helped me become, and I knew I would overcome anything that high school threw my way. 3 years passed, and I looked up from my lunch table and I saw her walking through the doors into my school, and my heart leaped in my chest. It was amazing to see her and show her how much I had grown since the last time she saw me. Because of Ann Bird, I can speak in front of crowds. Because of Ann Bird, I feel confident in my own skin. Because of Ann Bird, I know that I can face whatever life has to throw at me. She taught me about photography. Which has helped become one of my biggest passions. And I can't thank her enough for everything that she helped me through and who she helped me become. Mrs. Bird, you have forever changed my life. Thank you for everything.
Miss Allred, I don't even know where to begin. You have been such a great role model and rock for me since the first day I started at Clarksville High School. We were not very close my freshman year, but sophomore year really sparked the beginning of our bond. I was going through the worst of family problems and my self-esteem was terribly low. You stood up and took the role of helping me and allowing me to have the staff member that gives me support, love, and trust. I did not think I was going to make it through this stage of my life, but with your unconditional support, I did. It was not only sophomore year that you had helped me, but from that day, everyone can thank you that I was in the office every morning for the next 3 years. At the beginning, I told you that you are a great role model and have believed that statement 110%. If it wasn't for your consistent words of encouragement and your determination to get things done, I wouldn't be where I am today. Looking towards you has led me to accomplish all of my goals over the years. Who I am now and who I'm growing to be will always be a big part of the presence in my life you gave me. You gave me not only a counselor, but someone I could truly call family at that school. I trusted you with everything in my life, and that means a lot to me because I don't bulge to many. I choose you because you are you, and that's the best thing you can be. I was expecting to get in and out of the school, but now I know that I am going to have to stop in every once in a while to see you and Miss Jones. I am going to miss our daily panty talks and the conversations about how crazy our lives are. You will be the one I always remember and the one I know I can look to for help no matter where I am in life. Thank you for everything you have done for me over the past few years. You definitely left a print on me and nobody can take that away. Until our next panty talk.
So I chose Mrs. Allred, who has helped me throughout the years. She has always had my best interest in mind, but as senior year came closer and closer, I felt like I literally became best friends with Mrs. Allred. She has always been there for me. I couldn't describe the hundreds of stories I would tell her each day. Almost every time I walked into school, I'd always greet everyone in the counseling office, go straight back to Mrs. Allred's office to tell her something crazy that had happened the day before. I would like to say that Mrs. Allred was kind of my rock throughout high school. I didn't realize scheduling my classes with the guidance counselor as an incoming freshman would mean I'd have a great friendship down the road. Mrs. Allred has heard it all from me, from crying because I'm stressed out, or for literally no reason, to laughing until we both had tears flowing. I remember filling out anything to do with college, whether it had to be an application or a scholarship. Mrs. Allred always read it and made sure it was all okay. It could be the simplest thing, but I always had to make sure she read it. I wish our time didn't have to be cut short, but I'm happy to have met someone who has positively impacted my life like Mrs. Allred has. Thank you, Mrs. Allred, for all the knowledge I will be leaving high school with, and thank you for everything. I will never forget Mrs. Allred or the rest of the Clarksville staff.
The person I've chosen for my speech is Mr. Gardner. I am so grateful he was one of my first teachers when I came to Renaissance Academy. His positivity and encouragement has brightened my days and helped me push forward in the new school environment. We've had many conversations about the future and what was to come. The conversations we had were like speaking a new language for me, because he was listening to me like what I was saying was actually valuable to him. He gave me a new perspective on how I look at the environment and all the creatures living in it. A famous quote from Darwin D. Martin states, "A teacher's job is to take a bunch of live wires and see that they are well grounded." I believe he has done so with quite a few people, including myself. He has taken all of us and shown us kindness in the best ways possible. To say the least, he is quite an amazing person. Well, he even won Teacher of the Year last year in 2019. A well-deserved victory for him, if I do say so myself. Mr. Gardner is one of my favorite teachers from Renaissance Academy, a small but mighty school. I am more than happy to say I am thankful that I chose Renaissance Academy over the other schools that I could have transferred to. I want to say thank you to Mr. Gardner. You helped me catch up and acclimate when I transferred schools. You have all of my respect and will always be dear to my heart when I continue to college. Thank you.
Today I have decided to honor Mrs. Jones as my favorite staff member. Mrs. Jones may not be titled as a teacher, but over the few years I have been an assistant in the counseling office, she has taught me numerous valuable lessons that I will cherish forever. Mrs. Jones has been encouraging, supportive, understanding, and especially caring over the years I have known her. She has endless patience and she will always lend a listening ear. Mrs. Jones has given me so many unforgettable opportunities, namely being able to paint the walls, learning how to use a scanner, and having a home away from home within the school. Though the counseling office is just a small section of CHS, it is undoubtedly the one place I hold the most memories. Some of my favorites being watching videos of Miss Jones's grandson, taking finals which were just word searches and coloring pages, helping decorate for the holidays, and listening to music to de-stress. I am grateful that I had the opportunity to spend the majority of my high school career in the guidance office. Being in the office so often is definitely what has helped me achieve all I have these past years. I can't imagine how I would have survived without being able to have a place to go when things were getting overwhelming. So with that, Mrs. Jones, I wanted to thank you for being there, not only for me, but for several others when we needed an ear to listen, or even just a calm place to sit. Over the years, you have encouraged me endlessly, showing me how to be more patient, and you've even managed to show me how my overthinking can get a little out of hand. Thank you for listening to me and Hannah's stress, for pushing me to do my best, and for being so understanding of everything we managed to throw at you. I'm insanely grateful for all you've done over time I've gotten to know you.
Everyone has those people who have made an impact in their lives and made them a better person. Whether it's a parent, a friend, or some random stranger on the side of the road, for me, it's Mrs. Gearhart. Mrs. Gearhart is one of the most caring and more considerate teachers I've ever had. She began my love for helping other people with inducting me into the National Junior Honor Society, and she even gave me life advice about girls when I was a dumb little boy. She is one of the best people I know. I'm very thankful for having her as a teacher, and now that I'm older, a friend. Thank you.
For my top 10 honors speech, I have the pleasure of honoring my pre-calculus/trigonometry teacher, Ms. Tasha Embry. Not only was she a great math teacher, but I chose her because of how much effort she gave into being available to students constantly. She always went out of her way and used her own personal time helping students, whether it was before school, after school, during CCR, etc. One thing about students is that nothing means more to us than feeling comfortable to ask questions and having a teacher comfortable explaining different things to us. Ms. Embry was great at making students comfortable and being able to help students by understanding each individual style of learning for each student. She was flexible on ways to teach so everyone could understand it. To me, I think that is really special. Another thing about Ms. Embry is that although she gets on you, she is still able to joke and have fun in class while also keeping a bunch of wild upperclassmen under control. I know our class sure was not easy with loud talking to people like Reese and I, but she was able to keep our class under control and make sure we all had a chance to learn a lot as long as we applied ourselves like we needed to. Ms. Embry was my one math teacher through high school I felt like I could always rely on. As most know, we have not had a great track record of math teachers at either school, but I feel like taking Miss Embry's class makes up for it. I have learned so much in such little time because of how she teaches. This is my first time in my school career where I have legitimately been proud of myself for learning something, and I owe that all to her. The last thing I would like to say about my teacher is about how much I admire what Miss Embry does. Not only does she have to worry about getting grades in for all her classes, staying after school on her own time helping students who need the extra help, and having to plan all her own lessons, but while doing all of this, she takes her own college classes and being a student of her own. She has shown us some of the work in the classes she is taking, and it's jaw-dropping to think about how in the world you are supposed to solve some of that stuff. So basically, while she is trying to teach the 100 plus students she is trying to teach herself extremely high-level math that a lot of us probably have not ever seen before and probably won't ever even know how to solve. Miss Embry is a very admirable person, and I believe a good role model for other teachers and students. I very much appreciated being able to take her class and thank her to the fullest for all the help she has provided not only me, but all my classmates as well.
I chose Ms. Carmichael for my staff member of the top 10 honors for many reasons. One of the main reasons is because every day in school, she always asked me if I was okay and how I was feeling to check up on me. This is because she knows many things that I have been going on in my life and the things that have happened previously in the year. The second reason is because she helped me figure out and talk to the Bellarmine cheer coach. And because of her, I am now cheering at Bellarmine. The way she helped me is because she figured out who the Bellarmine cheer coach was by emailing the old coach and figuring out who the current coach is. She helped me email the coach, and the coach ended up coming to and watching my basketball game that week. I was then invited to their basketball game that weekend. And one of the last reasons I chose her is because she has helped me in the toughest time, when I was in pre-cal and struggling in the class. She spent many of her passing periods helping me prepare for the final so that I passed. She never gives up on students, and she helps everyone when they are struggling, no matter what it is. She treats everyone the same, no matter how they act or what she has heard about them. Even though I've never had her as a teacher, she is still one of the best teachers at Clarksville High School, and I'm always going to remember what she has said to me throughout the years. She cares for the kids that are here, and I'm very glad that I got to meet her because she has been a very big influence on my life. She has played the role of a friend, counselor, and mentor to me. I have told her everything when I'm having a hard time with people in school, and was all those things by giving me advice and helping me calm down when I was upset. The last thing that I have to say is that she is a great role model, and she is going to influence and help many others, and they are going to be just as grateful as I am.
I have chosen to honor Miss Howe as my staff member for the top 10 recognition. Miss Howe was my 7th grade advanced language arts teacher. Although this was very long ago, I've always remembered Miss Howe as one of the greatest teachers I've ever had. Taking advanced classes made me nervous at first, but once I got into Miss Howe's class, I knew I was meant to be there. I remember always sitting at the special top 5 table for having the best grades in the class. Sitting at that table made me feel unique and always encouraged me to do my best to stay at that table. I also remember reading all the Young Hoosier books to finish before anybody else. I always look forward to going to Miss Howe's class because she allowed us to have fun but also pushed us academically. Miss Howe was the type of teacher to try to make everything fun and keep us entertained and focused on the learning. I've always succeeded academically, but everything in Miss Howe's class seemed to be so simple because she taught it in a way that I could understand it. It seems like she made the lessons just for me. She works so hard to help her students absorb each lesson and will do everything she can to see it succeed. I also remember the auctions Miss Howe held on Fridays to reward us for the hard work throughout the week. She would always hand out charger bolts during the week and bring in snacks for us to purchase. These auctions showed how big Miss Howe's heart really is simply by acknowledging our efforts. Sometimes I felt like my teachers never really made a connection with their students, but I never had to doubt that Miss Howe deeply cared about each student that she taught. She always had something special for us to do, and even gave us free days if we truly deserved them. Miss Howe always gave supportive comments on my work, which showed me how important I was to her. Miss Howe changed the way I looked at my education by showing me that learning is the best way to grow as an individual. I credit much of my success throughout high school to Miss Howe, as she always knew I could do great things. I am now valedictorian, graduating with academic honors as well as an associate's degree because I never settled for anything less than success to make Ms. Howe proud. Thank you.
I chose Mr. Nickerson because even though he hasn't been my teacher a long time, he's made a really big impact. I would have never got to where I am today with playing my clarinet without him. He pushed me to learn pieces for solo and ensemble and helped me prepare for a college audition, which helped me gain a music grant. I would have never played half of the pieces I played this year if it wasn't for him pushing us to do our best in every piece we played. I had quit playing my clarinet, and with rejoining band this year and having him as a teacher, I've played harder pieces than I would have ever thought about playing. He's been the best band teacher I've ever had. I'm very grateful for the things that I've learned while being a part of his band this year. Even with all the obstacles that have been thrown at everyone this year, I never thought that I'd be playing in a band in college, and because of everything I've learned the past year, I'll be participating in 2 college ensembles. I will never forget the things I've learned in band while having Mr. Nick as a teacher.